Python Practice Problems, video number 3, Boolean Expressions. I'm Stephen Marcus and I'm doing a series of Python practice videos. There's a link in the description to my short introduction video that tells who I am and how these videos are being done and what to expect. Also in the description is a link to this Jupyter notebook without the answers so that you can go through it on your own, either before you watch the video or with me as I do the problems. Furthermore, in the description are a list of links to use as a starting point for your search for how to complete each problem. To use this video, I'm assuming that you have either gone through my first two videos or have a solid grasp on the Python print and input functions. Also, I'll be using Python 3. Okay, problem number 1. Create Boolean variables a and b and set each to true. So a equals true, b equals true. Create a Boolean expression using AND that returns true if A and B are true. A and B. And if I do Control Enter, it gives me true. I guess it's a function of Jupyter notebooks that lets you just type something in it and it gives you the output. Let's look at this just for a second though. If I set one of these to false, it doesn't work anymore. You can also notice that these are in bold green. If we did something like this, it still says false, but it's pretty confusing what it's actually doing. Let's use type. Type of A. A's a string now, where B is a Boolean. So if you put it in quotes, it's not a Boolean, it's a string. Likewise, if you say something like true in all caps, it doesn't work anymore. It's expecting a variable named true. So Jupyter Notebooks kind of helps you with making things bold. So both A and B have to be true in order for that to work. And this is more or less a little truth table to make sure that you've got it right. Okay, number 2, create variables A and B. Went ahead and set them both to true. Create a Boolean expression using OR that returns true if A or B is true. Print the result, actually in a print statement. If I say A or B, it returns true. Of course, the way that an OR statement works, as long as both of them aren't false, it's going to be true. I'll go ahead and say print answer is. To use this, I'm going to have to cast it as a string so that the print statement can use it. The answer is false. Set one of these back to true and it should be true. And that's just your basic OR statement. Number 3, create a Boolean variable named A. I'm going to go ahead and set it equal to true as well. Create a Boolean expression using NOT that returns false if A is true. Print the is plus, have to cast it as a string, not A. So right now A is true, so the answer is false. And if I switch it around and do false, answer is true. So that's what a not does. Okay, on to the actual problems. Number 4, a class can meet on Monday and Wednesday or Tuesday and Thursday. Create a Boolean variable for each day. Create a Boolean expression that returns true if Monday and Wednesday are true or if Tuesday and Thursday are true. And then print the result. So I'm going to use lowercase. Okay, there's all of them and they're set to false. I'm going to use a little intermediate variable just to make it a little bit easier to read. I'm just going to call it var equals. So Monday and Wednesday, or Tuesday and Thursday. I'm going to cheat just a little bit and say print var, and it's false because they're all false. If I make Monday true, it should still be false. If I make Tuesday true, it should still be false. But once I make either Wednesday or Thursday, it should go to true. Okay. The is plus var. The answer is true. And just for giggles, the answer is false. Number 5. Create Boolean variables for shirt, sweater, pants, and shorts. Create a Boolean expression that returns true if shirt or sweater is true and pants or shorts is true. And then print out the result. If you've not tried this yet, go ahead and give it a try and then come back. Okay. Shirt. I'm going to go ahead and make them all false. So either shirt or sweater and pants or shorts. I'm going to use var again. So shirt or sweater and or pants and shorts. Print var. False. But if I pick out a shirt and I pick out some shorts, it goes true. And just to kind of try a couple different cases, it's still true. Okay. The answer is plus, convert var into a string. The answer is true. Problem number 6. Create 5 Boolean variables for bacon, lettuce, tomato, corn dog, and pizza. Create a Boolean expression that returns true if bacon, lettuce, and tomato are true, or corn dog or pizza are true. Print the result as the answer is. So it has to be bacon and lettuce and tomato or corn dog or pizza. I'm going to enclose all of these in parentheses just for good measure. Var. Everything's going to be false to begin with. How about if we just do corn dog? That actually should work. Yeah, that's true. False. Bacon and lettuce, but tomato is false. It should still be false. If we make tomato true, it's true. Okay. Number 7. Create 4 Boolean variables for kill switch, left button, right button, and light. If you haven't tried this problem yet, now would be a good time to pause the video and attempt the problem on your own. Then come back to the video for the solution. Okay. and the light is going to be determined by the others. This problem is kind of like one that you might see in like designing a car or something. Okay, if kill switch is true, then light is false regardless of other variables, like a kill switch would be. Kill switch and button or right button. Print light. Right now it's false. If we turn on the left button, it's true because the kill switch is off. But if we hit the kill switch, it goes to false. And it doesn't matter what the kill switch kills it. It is on plus light into a string. The light is on false. Turn off the kill switch and it works. Okay, problem number 8. Create 3 Boolean variables for GFO1, GFO2, and happy. Create a Boolean expression so that if either GFO1 or GFO2 is true, happy is true. If neither are true, happiness is false, and if both are true, happiness is false. This is an example of an exclusive OR. Now, with a normal OR, if either one or the other input is true, then the output is true, and if both are true, the output is true. The exclusive OR basically makes if both inputs are true, the output is false. If you haven't tried this problem yet, now would be a good time to pause the video and attempt the problem on your own. Then come back to the video for the solution. So let's go ahead and make our variables. GFO1, I'll set it to false. GFO2, set it to false. Happy is going to be if GFO1 is true and not GFO2, or the converse of that, not GFO1 and GFO2. And I'm going to put that in its own set of parentheses just to make it look pretty. Make sure I've got my logic right. This one's true and that one's false, or this one's false and this one's true. Print BF is happy plus cast a string happy. Alright, they're both false, so the output should be false. If I make one of them true, it should go to true. If I make both of them true, it should go to false. So that's our exclusive OR. And that goes back to true. Okay. Number 9. Create a variable named age to hold an integer and a bool named wants coffee. Create a Boolean expression that returns true if age is older than 65 and wants coffee is true. If you haven't tried this problem yet, now would be a good time to pause the video and attempt the problem on your own. Then come back to the video for the solution. Okay. Wants equals false. And then age equals 50. I think we can do this with just a print statement. String. What has to be true is wants coffee And instead of just a true or false, we're going to say age is greater than 65. Free coffee false because they're both false. What if he wants coffee? It's not old enough. What if we say 65? It's still false. Can you see why it's false? Because the comparison that I used is greater than 65. 65 is not greater than 65. 65 is 65. So if we wanted to go back and set that as 65, we could do greater or equal to 65. And that works. Number 10, create variables named high temp, low temp, and cur temp. Let's say high temp, not going to be a Boolean, it's going to be an integer. Low temp equals 32. Current temperature equals 50. Make sure I've got my variables named right. I'm going to say temp equals low temp is less than cur temp, and cur temp is less than high temp. What we're shooting for is the current is between the low and the high. And I'll go ahead and make it look pretty with my print statement. High and low string. I can just use temp there. Between high and low, true. So 50 is between the high temp and the low temp. How about if I say 20? Should be false. And if I say 2000, that's false. But 200 is true. So that's cool, but we can simplify this a little bit. What I can do, instead of making this two statements, Python will let us get by with this, where you have it's just a three-way statement, and it still should work. Yep. So that's kind of a neat way to write it and make it look a little bit neater. Okay, problem number 11. Request an integer from the user. Use a Boolean expression to determine if the integer is odd or even, and print the result. If you haven't tried this problem yet, now would be a good time to pause the video and attempt the problem on your own. Then come back to the video for the solution. Okay, I'll make my variable name num. Num equals input, enter an integer. Okay, if I use input, that's going to return a string, and that's not what I need, so I'm going to cast this as an integer. So num is going to be an integer. Print the number is even, and then just whether it's true or false. I know it's going to have to be cast as a string, so I'm going to say is even not num. I'm going to use my modulus operator to see if it's divisible by 2. Enter an integer 4. The number is even, true. And let's see. Put in 5. The number is even, false. a nuance of this, throwing the not in there, let's see what happens if I put in a string. Let's see. There's 4. It returned a number because this on its own, the modulus operator returns an integer. It returns what the remainder is. But what I did with the not is just if it's either a 0 or it's some value, and that's what the not works off of. And then it turns this into a Boolean. And that makes it work. Final problem, number 12. Create a variable named user that contains the string Fred. Create a variable named password that contains the string chicken. So our username and password are Fred and chicken. Request a string from the user for a username and request a string from the user for a password. Print the result as the user and password combination is good, true, or false. Any case should match for the username, but the password has to be case sensitive. If you haven't tried this problem yet, now would be a good time to pause the video and attempt the problem on your own. Then come back to the video for the solution. Okay, so let's set our username and password first. User equals Fred. Password equals chicken. Fred's password is chicken. Request a string from the user for a username. I'm going to say user equals input, enter user name. That's going to put out a string, but that's what I want. And then for my user password equals input, enter password. I'm going to use an intermediate variable just so my line doesn't get so long. I'm going to call it auth equals user equals user and password equals password. Print the user combination is good, and then print out true or false for auth. Now, the one thing that I've obviously left out of this is the case sensitivity for user, but this will give us a starting point. I'm all the way at the bottom here. Username Fred, chicken, and it says it's good, which is true. If I say Fred and some garbage, and it says false. If I say give the right password and the wrong user, it's still false. So Fred and chicken worked. What can we do to take the case sensitivity out of the auth? Well, what I can do is where I have user, this is my user input, I can say dot lower. So whatever the user inputs, this is going to force it to all lowercase. And the way I've got my username specified, it's in all lowercase. So that's what we need. So let's see if that actually helps. Make sure nothing's goofed up. Fred and chicken works. Fred and chicken works. Fred, make chicken uppercase, and that is false. So that's what we wanted. Okay, so those are some examples on different ways that Booleans can be used. Thank you for watching. If you feel that you've gotten anything from this video, please hit the like button. This video is one of my first Python practice problem videos, so I'm anxious to see if there's enough interest to continue creating them. If you'd like to be notified when I create new Python videos, please hit subscribe. If there's enough interest, I would like to create more Python videos that go beyond just the basics. I would like to eventually do problems that are more like you would find in a real-world environment. I would also like to consider branching out into other languages like R or C++. Thanks again for watching.